Hi guys, this is Shelly Fitzgerald with Sew Shelly Quilts. I am joining two big pieces of batting, and you've seen how to do that, I'm sure, or I'll show you. But what you do is you put one on top of the other, both right sides up or wrong sides up, and cut through both of them. So I've just got my rotary cutter going through both pieces of batting. And why I wanted to show you my tip is if I pick these up and move them, they're no longer lined up. So I am putting a piece of painter's tape, then I pulled the top one away. I'll pull the bottom one out in 1 second. I'm putting a piece of painter's tape across, and in fact I'm then pinning the painter's tape in place so that I can move this great big long piece of batting. I'm joining two pieces. Oh, I'm going to reach under now and pull that under piece that was the edge of this one out of the way while I pin. And that's going to hold these pretty close to where they need to be still when I join them. So I'll come down here and put those back. And so now that cut edge will stay nice as I transfer this to the machine. So that is my tip on how to deal with this. It's easier on very small pieces, but I have a big quilt to do, and I had two pieces that were like 29 inches by however many feet, and this one was like 40 inches or 50 inches by however many feet, and I needed it larger. So I was just showing you my workaround so that that can happen, and then I can just roll it up, move it down, and do the very last section down here, cutting that apart. So I'll trim off this extra from the under piece and the extra from the over piece, and I'll lay these back down, line that cut edge, and finish cutting through to the end. And by doing this, then I can join them and butt them together. I will use a number 10 edge stitch foot, and I like the number 4. It's a zigzag that's going to go stitch, 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 stitch. So I'm sewing on both sides to join those. And I'll put the pin here, then I'll reach underneath and get that extra from underneath and put the pin here. And now when I take this to the machine, those edges are staying relatively lined up. So that's what I wanted you to see. My best tip for the day. Hope that helps. Okay, so by having taped and pinned these big long, these are like 8 feet long, I don't know, they're great big long pieces of batting, then I am assured that they are lined up correctly. So I have already put my needle in and taken a few stitches before I turned the film on. Like I said, I'm doing a number 4 on the Bernina machines. This is a long running zigzag, I would think you would call that. So it's going to be stitching as it zigs and zags from side to side. The number 10 is keeping these sides from crossing over, so I'm going to have a flat join. And boy, I am fighting the camera and the machine, I mean the bulk of this, so I hope I don't shake the camera. Okay, so the point being that these butt up perfectly without overlapping, and this huge wad of batting that I have is now held with this tape. So all along the length of it, otherwise moving this big piece and this big piece to the machine, it would have been incredibly difficult to leave them lined up. So by using the painter's tape and the pins, I was able to cut that 6 or 8 foot length, managed to keep it exactly where it needed to be, and move it over to my machine so that I can do this. So that's, see this big piece of batting on my lap. This is a lot. And so by having that tape, it really helps so that all of that length, I'm assured, is still going to be lined up where it needs to be. And I can go down the length of it. In case you've never seen what that join looks like on the other side, it's awesome. Look at that. And it's just flat as it can be. I'm sure you might have seen this before, but it's perfectly flat. I call it Frankenstein batting. So you put that together and the join is awesome. So there's other videos you'll see on that. The thing I added to the conversation was how to move these long pieces with the tape and the pins. All right. This is Shelly Fitzgerald with Sew Shelly Quilts. So here is a picture of my settings on the number 4 stitch. So I have increased the width to 9. If you had a 5.5 machine, then increase it to 5.5, just as wide as your machine will go. And I have increased the length to 1.85. So anywhere from 1.5 to 2. And that way it's much wider and longer than it is when it originally comes out of the machine, in order to do that join on the batting that looks so nice. So I just thought I'd let you know that I increased the width and the length when I did this stitch. And it just is as flat as can be. I can't even feel that. So there you go.